of a new day represent a whole lot of things. One of them is hope. Hope to go out and achieve. And that's the hope we're carrying on to this platform, the conversation. My name is Elizabeth. Now, what is our focus today? Yes. When God created man and woman, he said they should go out and, be companions, be helpmates. That's the beginning of the institution called marriage. Well, we call it wedding on the English side. But then the marriage between man and woman is as old as the earth. We all know that it's designed to last. But at the end of the day, today, the story is a little bit tricked. We often hear more of divorce than marriages. A lot of people are beginning to get scared. And we are wondering what could be the reason behind the increasing rate of divorce in our society. Some are blaming it on hypergamy. Well, we get to find out at the end of today because we have very interested people who are well vested to talk about it because all of us have had our own share of experiences in and outside of it. But my name again is Elizabeth and I have beautiful people in the house. Let me start with Joy. It's good to reconnect again.
Gosh, I missed the program and it's good to be here. My name is Joy Okpanachi.
Okay. Devon?
My name is Deva Hamat, your mom, and it's good to be on the show again.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
It's my turn again.
Before Uncle?
You're always blessed among women.
I'm beginning to feel a little bit.
And I'm wondering why you're sitting there, because we asked you to sit close. You're sitting at the edge. Yes. What's the problem?
Yes, I'm trying to isolate today because we're talking about family, so that when family people are looking at me, they will not really, I'm really defending family. So I'm separating myself.
Your name again?
My name is Chukwuma Haka, and I love to sit in the midst of women.
All right, beautiful. Because God was not stupid. When he finished creating the man, he also created the woman. And I keep saying, even though there are antonyms and synonyms, if you look at it very well, there is something joining us together. There is a man in a woman. Anyhow you spell it. But all the same, let's go to the street and get to find out a few things from people here in Abuja. We'll come back and talk. Don't go away.
In past times, when the word divorce is mentioned, it seemed blasphemous and cut across all societies. However, in recent times, when that word divorce is mentioned, people hardly ever bat an eyelid. And so it begs the question, for married people, what made you choose your spouse? And for people still searching for a spouse, what are you looking at before choosing your spouse? As always, Vox Populi, Vox Dei. Join me as we head into the streets to ask Nigerians these questions.
The quality I was looking at, a woman that will listen to me, and me too, I will listen to her. And all that quality I was looking into, she possesses it. It's a wife that will discuss and will relate things together.
When you marry your friend, you'll be able to, you know the do's and don'ts of the person already. So it's not a strange thing you are going into. But when you marry someone you don't really know, you find it difficult to make headway.
What makes me choose my partner is because of her quality, the quality I see in her. Pardon?
Can you list that?
She's tolerant. She endures. And also, she's good in cooking.
I'm single actually. But what will inform my decision to choose a partner will be based on companionship. I'm looking for someone that me and him can walk side by side beside me. We can discuss, we can move, we can settle things, we can, move freely.
I'm single, very much single. What will inform me for me to choose my partner in future? It's not really that much. Let him just be hardworking. I need a supporting husband. When a lady is working, your husband should be also working.
First of all, I have to see the person that is a God-fearing person, and then also I have to see this person that is someone that respects people, and also is someone that is caring and patient.
I will look at the family background, her family background.
Made me choose my partner is I feel more secure with him because of the love he has for me,
and he gave me that security that I need as a woman. That is why I choose him.
Yes, we have heard from Nigerians. But that's not all. We'll head back into the conversation studio set and learn more than a few things from our discussants.
Okay, we're back and we listened, and while that was going on, I was hearing commentaries, running, and I knew that Joy kept saying, "That's good." No, are you sure? Do you think, and this question really, I'm not a marriage counselor, and I'm not sure I can actually fit in, but a lot of times when people ask me, what should I consider, in choosing my spouse, young people, it's confusing to me. What do you think should be the main reason?
You see, you cannot be specific.
True.
Can't be specific. Different people marry people for different reasons. And where you come from matters a lot. From where I'm from, the men can be very commanding.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes. They're very assertive and they're very domineering. So most of the time, people know these things and think they can change a man. You can't change a man, you can't change a woman. So what you first decide is that, can you live with these vices, or you cannot live with these vices? Because if you say, oh, because he loves me, he will tolerate me. The thing here is, first step first. I always tell women and men, let the man love you more than you love him. Because when you get
I thought it's supposed to be 50-50.
No, there's no 50-50. Let's be honest.
50-50 doesn't exist.
It never, it's just, I think it's just
it's a fantasy.
It's a fantasy.
I'm here.
Yeah. So now, if the man loves you more, and first things first, the man must be the one that approached you. Because the mistake people do is that they said, oh, I like him, I went after him. It never works. Let the man do his job. And the thing now is, when you now marry the man, you will now find out that your own love will even surpass his. And the thing here is, people say date for a long time to know somebody. I don't agree. If you date a man in a month, you will know what he likes and you know what he doesn't like. Are you sure you can work with this man, or you cannot live with the man?
Wow, that's a good one. 1 month, is it enough? Because a lot of us carry a lot of things and cover. But I think there are people who are quite specific. With marriage for them is a project, and there's already an itinerary. I remember when I mentioned it to you, you told me about hypergamy and all of that. Marrying different classes. What's your take on that?
Well, that's now bringing us closer to the class distinctions and financial issues. But coming from what Okpanachi already said, I agree with her. I'm not an advocate of long dating. For me, long dating would be anything that exceeds 2 years, 3 years. It's too much. They say, the Igbo people have a proverb that any handshake that exceeds the elbow, you should ask it where it is going to.
Exactly.
You see, the novelty begins to wear off. Whatever little mystery you had around you that gave you a little bit of verve and made you worth getting to know better begins to wear off.
I love it. Go see finish.
Beautifully expressed in pidgin English. See finish. Now, once see finish sets in, the relationship becomes dull.
Yeah.
And then at that point,
nothing is exciting.
Nothing is exciting, even if the marriage actually, In fact, the longer a relationship, the lower the chances of marriage. Especially if the man is already, would I say, made. In this case, I'm not talking about wealth. I'm talking of he has day-to-day earnings, that he has a means of sustenance. He has his own...
just 1 minute. Hadia is just joining us. Hadia, please come inside. I know you were trying to get to feel. So
you're welcome.
You're welcome. Hadia, how are You're welcome. Please sit. No problem. No problem.
You're welcome.
We're going to give you some minutes to rest, and then we get into the conversation. Sorry, I cut it in.
No problem.
All right.
So if the man already has a means of sustenance, his own space, and maybe his own small car, and you have this relationship that's 2 years, 3 years, 4, you are not his spec. You are a placeholder. He's money. No.
Do they have his spec?
No, they do.
They have his spec.
I think they do. Okay. I think they do. He's keeping you around because you are convenient. You know, at least you mop the house, you clean, you come and cook. Free bed made,
people are just gossiping.
And you see, the longer it lasts, the more desperate you are to bring out your good girl habits. So you begin to take a lot of nonsense and rubbish. Yes. He'll sit in front of you and call 3 different girls and set up dates with them. And you will be sitting there, he'll send another girl money. You're on Valentine's Day, he'll not even remember you exist. Your birthday is nonsense. And the more he does that, the more you hunker down into your good girl mode. Sweetheart, he's not feeling you. If that person eventually marries you, that's because the girls he was speculating, the girls he was hoping for, then see and finish, then conclude, not be me and your nonsense. So when he has looked around and he has seen that other girls are not ready to take this much, then he will scratch his head and come back 10 years later and come and marry you then. And the thing is, no matter how long you date somebody, there's nothing like marriage until you marry. Yes. It's when you marry that you will know who you are actually with. But by that same token, I don't advocate, don't marry somebody you've never seen angry.
True.
Don't marry somebody you haven't had an argument with. And I'm not saying you should set traps. That's just be observant. Be observant. Study this person. How does the person relate with people that cannot add value to their life? How does the person relate with people that they're trying to get something from? How does this person relate with their immediate family, their parents? How do they relate with long-term friends, their boss in the office? Is this person always complaining about everything? But study. Don't date just because of romance. Oh, he's so handsome, he has 6-pack. No. Study this person.
6-packs will come out. You will go out when you have issues.
Study the person.
Definitely.
The time you're spending together, spend that time studying this person.
True.
Study the person desperately. Because what many girls tend to forget is you have the right to say no. There's no rule that said because somebody proposed, you should say yes. If you are studying the person and you are not understanding, in fact, you should be planning your exit strategy. Don't even wait for him to propose that so that you say no. They don't even understand. Make you come find your square so that you don't waste too much time.
Somebody has already accused
you will.
Chukuma has accused us that we're discussing men as if men
people are just gossiping.
Of course, I'm not saying it's all men.
People are just gossiping.
I was referring to a specific kind of situation.
Yes.
When relationships last too long.
It's a gossip about men, and I'm here. People are gossiping men.
You.
Okay, please. What she said, is it applicable?
Nah. Yeah. There's no one size fits all in relationship.
True.
Okay.
It's about personal.
That's my own.
Yes, that's why I said no one size fits all.
Okay.
It's about personal opinion, personal experiences. All the odds you guys mentioned didn't work for me. I didn't date for long. What Devan said, I met my wife, and the first day I met her, I said, will you marry me? She said, I asked her, have you married? She said, will you marry me? I said, yes. I didn't have anything.
No, who asked who first?
I asked her, are you married?
Okay.
She said, this one you're asking, are you married? Will you want to marry me? You know that joke. And events happen like that.
Yeah.
I always analyze this kind of a thing from my personal experience. From school, I had made up my mind. I was going to marry early. And one of the key things I knew about myself is that domestically I'm lazy. And I knew that there were a lot of things I couldn't do for myself because, forgive me for lack of a better word, my sisters made me lazy. I grew up from a family where they don't believe then that men should get into the kitchen.
Your sisters or your parents?
All of them?
Yeah, they don't believe a man should get into the kitchen. So there was an uncle of mine a cousin of mine who knew how to cook because it's late now. And he was always preparing the wife. So anything the wife cooks, he will not be happy with it. So they will tell you, if you go to the kitchen, you'll be like that person.
Oh, okay.
So everybody was scared. Then I will tell you, a man who goes to the kitchen will always get beers on time. So they scared us. I was a bit lazy domestically. And I made up my mind. There were I read a lot of books about marriage. In preparation.
Do people really do that?
Yes, it does. Okay.
People do that? Yes. You read books about marriages?
Yes. Before getting married.
Some Boone didn't work for me.
No, those ones are romantic fictions. I read books about people who had been in marriage from their experiences. And it helped me prepare myself on what I actually wanted. And I prayed about my marriage. And one of the key things I knew was when I got married, I knew I got married to my friend.
Very important.
My wife and I didn't date. In fact, I always say this, my first house, I didn't have this thing that other guys have called bachelorhood. The first house I moved into as a bachelor, I moved in with my wife.
So, but how long from when you asked her out till you got married?
I met my wife in August. And between August, I told her let's wed in October. Her mom said it was too quick. She said, okay, I said, let's do December. They said in her village, they don't do traditional marriage in December. I said, okay, let's do February.
So approximately 6 months?
Yes, but within that period, she was in Port Harcourt. I just moved into Owerri. So she was moved to Owerri too. And I didn't have my own house. I was quartering in someone's house.
And you were proposing?
Yes. She always
used
to have me till tomorrow.
They walk now.
Now, she will always speak. My friend, the person I met my wife in his house is coming to Abuja today. I wish he would be watching this. He could say this. And eventually, it worked for me. And how did it work for me? I came from a home where marriage worked.
Right.
So, are you getting it where I'm going to now? I came from a home where marriage worked. My parents were a happy couple. And I understood the respect a man gives to the woman. I understood the respect a woman gives to a man. Yes, I understood the fact that a man should be responsible. A man should take care of his family, irrespective of the strength of the woman. My mom was a very hardworking woman. She also had her own money. But I always remember that my father always brought out money for the family. So I took it up added to what some of the things I read from the book. In fact, a lot of my cousins will always tell me, you are one of the luckiest persons, because I was seen as a randy guy in school. I was seen as a Casanova. Nobody believed I could have had a very beautiful marriage. Even my classmates will always ask me, how did you do it? Fortunately for me, fate smiled
for you.
Yes, on me, and it worked. But if I'm going to give an advice, like I always speak to people that come to me, I want to marry, what are the things I should look out for? First, you have to be yourself and marry somebody that is real.
Exactly.
Why a lot of things are not in place today is that people are not real, people are fake. And when somebody marries you because of how artificial he has seen you, marriage does not give room for the artificial personality to last for long.
You cannot act
and when it begins to unveil,
it's not possible.
When it begins to unveil, you see that things will begin to, this is not what I saw, this is not what I went to market to buy.
Exactly.
So anger will start coming in.
True.
Both parties, as a lady, you look out for a man that is himself. My wife will always say that I always told her everything about me. I kept saying I didn't have money. When I went to see my mother-in-law, I was going to her place, I was in Okada. She told them to tell me that at her junction, I should stop there, she should send her driver to come and pick me. That marrying her last, that she had trained, and I'm coming with Okada. What kind of embarrassment is that? I told my wife to tell her mom that she will see plenty cars and get tired of seeing cars, that she should just not worry. When the time comes, I will give her plenty cars. And I used it to have my mother-in-law today. When she comes, I tell Mommy, have you seen? She will laugh.
She has seen plenty cars.
I was so positive about life, but I was real.
Okay.
I never gave promises of what I never had.
All right. Okay, so let me get to Hajia. I'm sure you're rested a little bit now. So we were just discussing, our topic is excessive divorce in the society, and we wanted to actually start from the point of negotiation the point of engagement. What should you be looking at? From your perspective, what should I be looking at when, or another lady out there, looking at before getting into the relationship?
Actually, this is a very sensitive topic and very important as well, because we have seen so many marital discord, divorces and abuses in marriage, and actually foundation makes a marriage strong. Looking at the part of Nigeria I'm coming from, that's the northern part of the country, there are so many like traditions, cultures attached to marriage. Like most at times you find out that the parents are the one initiating the marriage.
Yes.
They initiate. Then sometimes they even go ahead to conduct the marriage with little consent of the especially girls.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes it works. If you look at our parents, like let's say 40, 50 years back, the parents just come in and say, this is your husband, and that's final. And then that marriage will last for like 60, 70.
Was it not just because they were enduring it? They were not really involved?
Not really. That time,
Women were patient then.
Yeah, exactly. And then the environment, and then we are not that socialized like we are now exposed. As exposed is better word. Like they don't watch TV, they don't read books, they don't go places, they don't see much. They are like localized.
No social media.
No social media. So they are localized. So the advice is that patience. They will keep on telling you, patience, have patience, have patience. But they endure and understand themselves, because like our uncle here said, you don't lie. But these days, you just watch a movie, see some couples are happily married in a movie, then you try to imitate. It doesn't work that way. And young girls grow up with that notion that, oh, marriage is all about love and romance, which is very, very lie. It's not true. It's something that cannot be realistic. All these movies are fake. Most of them are not married. So you can't get a role model from a movie and then practice it. She's just acting. Then ask her, maybe she was married and get divorced. So what happened? That she is not using that tactics in her home. So that's early time, early as in courtship is important. And then I always encourage the investigation before marriage. Know who you are getting married to, either the boy or the girl. Like, understand each other. Look at the family background. Look at his own family background, because the training he's getting from his home might be different from the training you are getting from your own house. Like your parents are different. Maybe you have tribal differences that intermarriage. His culture is different from your culture. Are you thinking that, okay, if I get into that family, will I be able to cope with their culture? Like the Yoruba culture, for instance, they will tell you have to do some certain cultures as a bride or as an in-law. You have to lie down. You have to, those cultures, I don't know whether they still practice them. You know,
they still practice them.
So you
practice them. That went for
yes,
you kept
you have to do it.
So if a core northerner is marrying a Yoruba man, she should look at that culture first, because they will look at her if she's not practicing it as if she's being disrespectful, and you know. So he too should understand, if he is going to the north, if his parents are sitting on this cushion, he's supposed to sit on the floor. Things like that. You understand each other. Okay, can I endure such? Okay, if I'm not going to do it, will they be able to understand, because I'm coming from the north? What type of family? Is there any marital discord? How do they, relationships, things you have to study. You become a researcher before you get married. If not, at the end of the day, things will not work as expected. I was giving example. I just went to an event. Then the girl is getting married. I think she's around 16. So I asked her, why are you eager to get married? She just smiled. I'm tired of staying under my parents' control. They'll keep on asking you to wash plates, clean this, do that, do this. So I want to get the house of my own. I was like, are they not your parents? They are training you. That's what you go and do in your husband's house. Do you know? He said, yes, she's capable. She can do it. There is YouTube. There is all this she can. And then she love environment that during rainy season, she will just on lights, clean her house, put this water inside the house. Yes, incense. And then she will on her TV, enjoy her TV, and then cook indomie and hot tea. Look at the perspective she's having about marriage. So I was confused because, like,
when she finishes, please, I want.
You understand the perspective she is looking at. If at all she didn't find that kind of environment in her husband's house, so the marriage is not going to last.
It's not going to work.
There will be quarrel all the time. Like, I just finished working and you are still asking me to go and wash plates. I just want to watch TV. Now you are telling me not to watch TV. You want to watch football, you know. I want her perspective. She need to, like, understand marriage is an institution that needs
a lot of
proper training. Just like you can't get a degree certificate without going to university.
Exactly.
So you can't go into marriage without having that knowledge.
In Nigeria now, you can.
Okay,
no, that's not recognized. That's not recognized. No matter how you get your degree,
you know when all of us were talking, when all of you were talking, there was something I picked. COVID did a lot.
Yeah,
COVID did a lot because I grew up in both parts, the north and the west, and in the north where I grew up, you cook at home. You see your parents cook. And from there, all of you eat, so you learned how to cook. When I went to the other side of Nigeria, I noticed they were buying food. So, I now said, if you grew up in this kind of environment...
Wait, let me understand you. Like, mommy will go out and buy cooked food for the house to eat, or
no,
what do you mean?
When you are going, they give you money.
You go out.
They give you money. When you're going out, you buy your food.
Okay.
Or you understand?
So you shouldn't expect to come home and...
There's no food at home.
Okay.
There's no food at home. So
I was actually shocked when I saw that.
Yeah.
Too.
So you see here, you now have two sets of people who basically, like I always say, if you want to marry a man and you know the man likes food, excuse me, if the man decides to marry the other one that buys food, there's a fundamental problem already.
You should be buying the food and giving the man. What's the problem there?
That's where I'm going. See, most of the time, COVID made us to realize that many women didn't know how to cook. So
I didn't even know that's where you were going to.
No, that's where I'm going to. So the thing that now happened during COVID was that the man thought she was the one cooking, but she was buying food and giving him.
Our restaurant had closed.
There were no restaurants. All these
points to what I'm saying. She wasn't real to the husband.
That's where I'm getting to. So the thing here is that when you're dating, and you know, there's some men, they don't mind. So when you're dating somebody from the onset, you have to know. And the problem with most of the Nigerian men, instead of you to let this woman cook for you when you're dating, you start going to takeouts. How long are you going to go to takeouts? So you see, the biggest problem we're having in Nigeria is the fundamental thing. Our mothers were cooking. I'm one person who, I don't do pando yam. I want to be pounding, pound it. So the thing here is that you have parents who don't teach their children how to cook. Many parents who say the boy child is not meant to cook. All that thing. And you find that when you now marry, you now marry a woman who sometimes works like round the clock. Now you can't even do egg for your children when they're going to school. So there's a lot of problem. So most of the time now, everybody is angry. Everybody is frustrated. Everybody is violent. After a while, the thing just sparks. Then you have parents who will say, okay, why don't you go and get a cook? Who is going to pay for the cook? So one of the biggest problem we're having is the foundation of a marriage.
Okay, can I fly in? Can I fly in now? Because we've dwelt so much on cooking, knowing partners.
Yeah.
But there are places also that these things you've mentioned are in place, but they're still violent in the family.
No, let's not even talk about violence.
They're still okay. I don't want to, okay. It could still,
because they still have issues.
They still have issues.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about divorce.
Yeah.
There are still people that you do these things for, and they are still not very happy with the woman.
Yeah.
There are things we need to
talking about the different.
Yes,
we're going to. You see, like
yes,
you see, for me, one thing I've always said, and she said it, the biggest problem we have in Nigeria is class. And I always say it.
Class.
Women should not go. Men should not. Sorry, I'm already confused. Women should not go below.
Thank you.
The class.
Hey. I agree.
It's so.
I agree. There's no.
I'm telling you.
For me, it's not debatable.
It is a no.
If I were to advise
a man can go down.
A man can go,
but a woman cannot go down.
A man should go down.
I refuse.
A woman should go either across or up.
80% of the divorce cases
marry across or up.
Let me tell you, I had an experience when I was growing up. It still haunts me to today when I was dating a guy and I was being humiliated. And that's why I always like to use my story. And the mother called me and said, "What's your name?" And I told her. You know what she told me? Hey, Loruko.
You don't have a last name.
You don't have a last name.
That's the thing.
You do not have a last name. And let me tell you, it messed up with my mental state. And guess what? The guy never came back to me. Because most of these guys are being controlled by their parents. So the thing here, I'm telling you, if I was treated like that, can you imagine if it was the other way around?
Joe, what's the difference between this with what my mother-in-law did to me when I was coming to see her daughter? I could have said no and walked away. It's about individual differences. I'm coming. Listen, most men...
Your case was different.
No, not about my case being different. It's about... Okay. I want to align with you in some certain areas. Okay. The fundamentals, the family upbringing. I was brought up to the point that I know my worth, whether I had it or not. You could not speak down on me. I was never intimidated, irrespective of where I found myself. I grew up in the midst of people. You knew where we grew up, so you knew the kind of competitions in the environment. Whether you had it or not, you would always, you have it or not, you will always have a way of measuring up with your mates. Now, the fact that my mother-in-law said to me then, "Don't come to my house without a vehicle," could have turned someone off and pushed him away, and that could have ended it. But there was something I looked up to. The woman I was about to marry. What is her perception about me? I wasn't going to marry her mom. And this is where what I said to you before, you said if it works. Books work, because I read from some principles and fundamentals from books that helped me tolerate my mother-in-law at that point in time. It could have been a joke, it could have been something she meant. But what happened? I put it aside, I turned it as something for the future.
Were your parents paying your bills?
My parents paid my bills out. I could tell you.
I'm trying to tell you because this you're missing where I'm coming from. Completely. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Joy, if I may come in.
Yeah.
You see, when we talk about Joy just hinted at it. Let me expatiate a little bit, and I think we'll still be on the same page. The idea of a woman not marrying beneath what she's used to. I say marry across. That is, marry within your class.
True.
For
Very
a woman.
Important.
Or aim higher.
Yes.
Now, when I say aim higher, I'm not saying your dad is a permanent secretary somewhere. You're saying now only Dangote son go marry you. You're on a long thing. Yeah. No. But let's say, for instance, you're a young civil servant somewhere. There's nothing wrong with aiming for the MD of a bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't get him, if you get one of the tellers, at least, if you have a bachelor's degree, marry man will get bachelor's degree.
Okay, that's
or we get masters. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay,
No go marry person we just finish secondary school. Yeah. Yes. Now let me explain why. It's beyond a money thing.
Good.
This guy that just finished secondary school might have a very good spare parts dealership business.
Yes.
So he has the money. Yeah? Now, he has the money, but his background is, you know, a bit rural. You know, he's the first person that came out. Yes, you know. And your parents, you know, they schooled in the UK, you know, yeah. But in terms of money, he may even have more money than your parents. But when you people sit down to talk, the minute you use one big word, even unconsciously, he will tell you you're throwing your weight around.
Because you went to school.
Because you went to school. Hang on, I'm going somewhere because you took it in the wrong direction.
No, I didn't.
You want to prove that
individual.
No, it's usually, and you see, this person that is down there, right?
Yes.
If you're unlucky enough and he doesn't have the money either, but maybe you just like him,
that
you guys vibe well.
It's a killer.
So you decided to be together.
It's a killer.
Now, when you people marry,
Yeah.
instead of him to build himself and come and meet you where you are, he will pull you down to where he is and lower.
Yes.
So that he can have that edge over you.
That
it happens so frequently. That is why for women it's not a good idea. First of all, ordinarily in our social construct, the man is supposed to be the leader.
Yes.
A man, nobody can lead you from behind.
You know,
he cannot lead you from behind. You are more exposed. You have more money. You are maybe slightly older. You've achieved all these things, and many men, their bills are being paid.
Many men, take it from their bills are being paid by their parents, so they call the shots.
Listen,
Chukuma, it's not good for the woman.
What she's trying to say, I
it
totally
puts you in a highly disadvantaged.
Listen,
I'm trying to open my mind.
A lot of times,
it's not just about money.
A lot of times, even when you marry somebody you are par with, in terms of your economic strength, your social strength, and all of that, women tend to want to upgrade themselves a lot. When I always tell women, when you're upgrading yourself, be it in academics or whatever, and you love your husband enough, try to ensure that you carry him along. What usually causes a lot of the divorce is proven is insecurity on the part of man. When on the two sides anyway, but a lot of men, because naturally women are designed to be submissive. You can grow this way. Your husband, your wife will still be here. She will just stay submissive, and she'll be fine. But a lot of times, when a woman is growing up, and the man is still down there,
problem.
The man will always, if ordinarily you say, "Honey, can you give me that water?" You know, he would give you if he's a big man, or if he's grown. But the minute you are the one picking bills, for instance,
exactly,
or you've had titles like doctor, professor attached to you, and this man is still answering Mister. The minute you say, "Please give me this bottle," you say, "Hey, you don't carry bus, enter house."
You are throwing your weight around.
Or you come back and you say, "I'm tired, I can't cook."
Can I dilute
the man gets this thing.
Liz,
so
can
it's
I
good
dilute,
to, as you're growing up,
to
make sure your husband is growing up. And even the man, I always say, make sure, as you're growing, make sure you carry your wife along too.
And this growth could be both ways, academic and
anyhow.
That's fine. Then there's an aspect I would want us to look into. Everything could be working well in a family until external forces come in, and those external forces might not be from the background, may not be parental. External forces could mean what we have been talking about, and people have been shying away from social media.
Social media, yeah.
Now, and a lot of most of divorce cases, most of divorce cases have been influenced
by social
media, by the attention people had paid on the social media. You could have seen a home that both parties have been very comfortable, understanding themselves, until someone outside begins to narrate a story that never became.
Yes.
I don't think I've shared this story before. I have a friend. He told me he had a cousin whose father was once a governor, and the lady was about to get married to a guy. And because the lady was about to get married to the guy, so she was telling her friend, and her friend was telling her, "No, I won't tolerate this, I won't tolerate that, I won't do this, I won't do that."
People lie.
So gradually, it started messing up with this lady's side over this man she's about to get married. But she spoke to this, my friend. That's how I got to know the story. But this my friend's cousin now eventually went on a date to visit this her friend.
Everything was different.
To know
how everything was different.
All this I can't tolerate happened.
Agree.
All of a sudden, he said, do you know the funny thing?
Yes.
The husband doesn't call her by name. The husband calls her with bell. And if he rings that bell and she's not there.
Hey. No, I'm sure you're exaggerating.
No. He's not exaggerating.
You know what? I will make a call and you hear.
That.
He said he calls her with a bell.
What does that mean?
As in
the house very
you're like a dog.
As in when he comes and presses bell.
Because she lied.
As in, she said the sister almost fainted.
Yes.
The cousin almost fainted because, like, how could you be feeding me with all this?
And you go to your own house.
Information.
So there are these external forces that mess good foundations
I
up.
agree with you.
And as person who is about to get married or someone in marriage, what are the things you've allowed to come into your home?
Yeah.
What are the measures you
That's
are
the
using
research that I'm talking about.
to check
You need
your
to
home?
research.
Because sometimes you have a beautiful girl, well-trained, from a very good home. And a good guy who has who's from a good home, but external forces will just come in, and a beautiful marriage becomes
That's
a very
one of the
toxic
biggest
home.
problem right now.
You understand? You understand?
Yes.
So most of the people listening to us should also look within themselves. How have you been able to allow external forces affect your internal happenings in your home? Because it could have something. And the fact that is doing very well with his wife. Yesterday, I was coming back and I saw a husband and wife holding hands. And I told my friend, I said, can you see this? I said, in most cases,
how do you know his husband and wife?
No, this husband and wife.
How do you know?
Wait, no, from where we are coming, I know his husband and wife, sorry. Okay. And I told him, in most cases, people who show off this way.
Na lie.
If you go home, a lot of things are
I agree with you.
And I said, most times, it's not about showing off. People are quick to the glamour that people give.
I agree with you.
Whereas a lot of things happen. So, in order not to put yourself under undue pressure, on my way to this place, one of my former staff called and said she got engaged. And I started telling her, I said, there are key things you need to know. I said, this is your marriage that is about to happen. Please keep it to yourself. I said, it's not something you go to the social media to go and celebrate. It's not something you begin to tell all your friends. I said, mind you, not everyone is happy about your home. This is where I'm going to.
I agree with you.
You understand?
Yeah.
It's not everyone that's happy about a family that is beautiful. Well. It's not everybody's happy about a happy home. Mind how you share your good reports. Because the person you're sharing your good report outside may not be happy. And they may not be getting the vibes you're having in your home in their own homes. And they want to sow a seed of discord to ensure that you don't get that. And they will give you a pity scenario that is not good for you. So please and please and please, there is no perfect home.
There is not.
If you could manage your home, manage your home. But while managing, if home becomes toxic to the point that life is threatened, you should leave and seek counsel somewhere else until you can manage that. I don't encourage people to be in marriage till death. You understand? But as a man, no matter how high your wife has gotten, it is wrong for you to use her exposure or her affluence or influence in the society to use it to blackmail her. You should, as a man, live up to expectation.
Men should pay bills.
It's their responsibility.
Men should pay. Women, no. Men should pay bills. No. Men should pay bills. Men should pay bills. Let me ask Hajia. Women can chip in, but men should pay bills.
Hajia, in my holy book, the Bible, it says that the man who cannot provide for his family is worse than an infidel. Please, what does Quran say? Let's hear from the Quran.
Quran says, "Arijalu qawwamun 'ala nisa," that men are superior to women. They are they are leaders. So a leader should know how to take care of his family, all responsibilities, her protection, her feeding, her shelter.
You should know that you're doing slave trade now.
No, a woman can chip in.
In return, a woman is only told to be submissive.
That is it. The same thing in the two books.
A man should love, and when you love, you women. Why should women be paying? Why should women be paying the bills? That's one of the biggest problems right now.
Let me come in here, right?
That's one of the biggest problems we're having now. They are the head, but they don't pay the bills.
Again, I align with Joy and Hajia. In fact, in this case, all the women.
I told you it was supposed to be.
But it's not meant to be a gender war. No. We're looking at the things that will help marriages survive best. In a situation where the man earns substantially more than the woman, the truth is, in all honesty, he should foot all bills. Now, it is different if he's not earning, his earning capacity is limited, maybe she earns way more than he does, because these dynamics exist.
Right.
But if the man is, like maybe if he has a full-time stay-home wife who just has maybe a kiosk somewhere, this, there's this latest very toxic talk of 50-50.
Yes.
The man should contribute 50%.
But they're spending outside.
The men should also contribute 50%. And it goes beyond money. It's about everything. It doesn't work. In every marriage, there comes a time when one person...
Yes, I know.
There comes a time when one person is doing the heavy lifting. And it's not just about money. Sometimes it's emotionally. You're the one showing up more than the other person. Sometimes it's in terms of physicality. You are physically stronger and healthier now than this other person. Sometimes it's in the pocket. You are doing phenomenally better than this other person. Whoever is in a better position in a certain capacity has to do the heavy lifting in that particular.
When women pay bills, they take control.
No, not all women. Not all women. Not all women, please.
Most of the time, like 70% women,
if you
allow them to
but
start
that's
doing
how
those
men
things,
feel.
They feel as
it's
if
not
they
even
are
about
in
whether
charge.
the woman is doing it or not.
First
of all,
if it is your children, like you don't provide food, you allow them to go and look for food somewhere outside to work and earn. It will be difficult to control them.
Exactly.
Okay, now let me explain. Let me explain.
Just 1 minute.
Yours is a 1%.
A lot of people are calling us.
1%
Please, we don't take calls.
This is
We don't take calls. We only take messages. For those who keep calling, we don't take calls. Just send your message either via WhatsApp or direct text message. We'll read it. Please
let me explain. A good woman who earns more than her husband would not allow her children know that her husband is not fending for them.
Sometimes it's evident.
What makes it evident?
You don't have to tell them
what
anything.
Makes it evident?
You think they don't know?
I'm coming. What makes it evident is the attitude of the woman.
Not true.
No,
it's not true.
Not true. Waking up and lounging out every day and his mommy
that could be no. That's an extreme case. I mean, where a couple, both of them work, and they do things and they all go out.
Oh, no, that's
but eventually the woman earns higher than the man. And I've seen it in cases where you see a woman rub it off on the children. Your father is not.
Sometimes. Let me tell you this.
Let me land.
They are giving you a stretch.
Let me land. It's not about giving a stretch. Marriage, I need us to understand this. Marriage is partnership. I define marriage. This is my personal definition. I didn't get it anywhere. Marriage is a meeting of two individuals who originally had different destinations to go, but have agreed to go to a particular destination. The destination, on their part, it might be very rough. Things might happen. But the most important thing is that there has to be an understanding to forfeit some things and compromise on some areas. You understand? Now, when you are together in a home, and both of you are making efforts as a couple, but fortunately the lady has more than the man. Some ladies would not allow even their own parents understand how much their husband is earning.
True.
Some ladies would not even allow her children know that they are the ones paying the fees. Some ladies will not, and in that case you see the man honoring the wife and nobody would know. But there are ladies who will make it obvious
They will tell you
that the man is the one, that they are the one doing everything, and making the man look stupid. And in trying to make the man look stupid, you are bringing the man, despite all the effort the man is making, to do the best, and you are subduing him. I once had a girlfriend who had more money than myself, and whenever we go out to sit out with her friends, When we finish eating, she will sneak in the money under the table to me, and I will come out to pay.
Is that not a lie?
It's not a lie. She was trying to protect the dignity of her man. We ended up not marrying, but I never forgot that. At a point, even in our marriage, she had issues. She ran to me. I told her, I remember how you were covering my shame. I will also support in making sure that your shame is covered. You understand? Most times...
Were you already married when you were covering this person's shame? I just want to...
No, let me explain to you what I mean by covering shame.
It's something that will not work.
No.
Very harsh when it comes to things like that.
See, let me explain.
Yeah.
When Elizabeth is... We're not going out. Elizabeth, yes. If Elizabeth has an issue that requires financial support, and she comes to me and said, bro, please, these are the things I need to do. I don't need to shout it anywhere.
Hey, but you're talking about an ex.
It doesn't, whether
so
an
somebody
ex or
you're
not.
emotionally
it's a no-no.
No, what I don't
it's
understand.
It's a no-no.
What is
because you can be
that means that you won't mind if your life is also...
No.
So us women, we try a lot.
The way you are wired is different from how we're wired.
No, because me, if my...
Yes. No, I don't agree with you for that.
In all fairness.
Yes.
Who did you marry? If you know the partner you married, how come you wouldn't understand when your partner is telling you the truth?
It's because I understand how powerful Satan can be.
No.
Yes.
They always tell you, you know what they always say. Never go back to an ex. No. Never go back to an ex.
Okay, let's solve this problem.
Yeah, never go
let's
back
solve
to
this
an ex.
problem. Some people are writing. Let me quickly take a message. No. Somebody says here, I do not agree. I disagree totally. He says native intelligence supersedes all. Education does not determine success of marriage. I believe that too. Inbuilt intelligence and experiences of life fuel growth and maturity in marriage. Social stratification could influence marital growth positively or negatively. Well, you didn't give us your name, but then from your picture here, I know he's a man that wrote, unless maybe you're
Men will support me today.
Of course. Especially where
and the other thing we should talk about is the other thing we should talk about that people don't normally talk about is religion.
Okay.
People tend to, when I had Muslims coming to me and say, oh, it's okay, it's fine, you can keep your religion, but you know the problem, okay, if you have a girl child, the girl child can be your religion, the boy child can be his religion. Many women dabble into it because they want to get married. It's already a wrong foundation.
Sure.
I know I can be a Muslim. I cannot see myself marrying a Muslim, and when I go to church on a Sunday, I realize my children are there, going with their father to this thing. It doesn't work. And most women I know have gotten married, and later they now realize that it was a wrong move. And most of my friends that I know have left their marriages.
You know, I actually know someone who's been married to a Muslim, and they've been married for over 20 years.
And they've been so successful.
And they've been very successful. In fact, they actually have a grandchild. I asked her, I said, what is your secret? She said, when it's time for prayer, the Muslim prayer, and he's being lazy, I remind him to go and pray. On Sundays, if I'm being lazy, he reminds me that I am the one that is holding the family. So I should be more prayerful. So, and we encourage each other.
How many of them have worked now?
Sorry, I want to throw light. Joy, I want to throw light.
Yeah. I'm not saying it doesn't work.
I want to talk about religion.
Yeah.
We, at our point, should be throwing light so that people outside will learn.
Yeah.
The compatibility we are talking about is when you realize that the Muslim is praying to the same God you are praying
to.
I do agree with you.
Sorry, that's your personal opinion.
No, that's my personal opinion.
That's your personal opinion. Because every religion has their extreme versions. In Islam, you have extreme version. In Christianity, you have extreme version.
Yes.
I'll tell you that in my place before now, if you're an Anglican and you want to come and marry a Catholic
they won't
person,
agree.
They will not agree. So it's not about Christian and
no,
Muslim.
what I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to explain to you.
I think you only gave that as an example.
I'm giving that as an example.
Religion,
religion matters.
Yes.
Religion, the understanding in religion should be, if you know what you could tolerate in a marriage.
Before the marriage.
Before the
That's
marriage,
it.
accept it.
Many people-
Whether in marriage,
our time
in
is
religion
our
or
time
not.
is almost up.
As Catholic, I always knew nothing would make me marry Pentecostal.
So our time is almost up.
I don't.
And that's
I
our
don't
time is
tell you
almost up.
like
So
that.
why
That's
we
the
go
same Christianity.
why we go into
So-
marriages, we should always ensure that we are
matters.
compatible.
It matters.
My director is on my matter. So let me quickly say, family members, but we are living because of okay. They said, okay, they are living together because of church, and I don't know, your story didn't start from the beginning, but this other person says, ideal women should foot bills if their man is incapacitated.
Incapacitated.
Last one, he said, the man is the head of the family. Does not mean that the man must be richer than the wife.
Absolutely.
He directs and controls the resources of the family as the manager of the home. The wife should surrender whatever she earns for the retirement.
I don't agree.
Okay, bye-bye. Next week we see you again. This argument will continue.
Young lady.
Bye.
Don't marry down.
Are we off?
Yes, we're not yet off. We're still on.